Hello, friends. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sandy. I serve as the youth leader here at McMinnville Covenant Church, and it is my joy and honor to share with you guys today. Mostly because I get to tell you about one of my favorite Advent season traditions. When we talk about Advent peace, we usually picture something calm, something maybe with soft music, maybe with candles, that one picture perfect, gentle Hallmark snowfall. That seems to never happen here. Maybe we think of the family all gathered together to watch Christmas movies and eat popcorn, or decorate the tree, or do a little starlight shopping. Peace that's cozy, a peace that is predictable, peace that's Instagrammable. But not every Advent tradition is quite that peaceful. One day I was listening to an audiobook. It was a devotion book by Rev Liz McManus Dahl. She's an Episcopal priest in Texas. She wrote a book called God Didn't Make Us to Hate Us. And as I was walking and listening, I stopped dead in my tracks when she said these words. The Christmas story is so well worn, it is easy to miss how unhinged it actually is. And honestly, that's true. The Christmas story is not tame. It's not tidy. It's very messy. It's not safe. I mean, they had to trek for miles. They had to evade a king who wanted to kill them. It's wild and surprising, and nothing like what anyone would have thought that the God of the universe would do. Speaking of Advent traditions that remind us of how unhinged the season actually is. Many years ago, when I was on a family vacation to Germany during this season, I met Krampus. And if you're not familiar with him, just imagine someone looked at a goat, and then they looked at a demon, and then they had a bad dream, probably because they looked at the goat and the demon. But after having that bad dream, they said, what if we combine all three of those things at Christmas? Now, I don't have any pictures of myself with Krampus. I've only met the man once. I survived. My mom suspiciously does have a couple of pictures of her with Krampus. She is this beautiful person right here that I can only hope to be as awesome as that when I am her age. Therefore, this, not my dad. Not my dad. That is Krampus. Krampus is this horned, wild-looking creature who runs around with St. Nicholas, of all people. St. Nicholas hands out gifts to the good kids, right? For those of you whose families participate in that tradition, St. Nicholas comes on December 6th. You leave your shoes out the night beforehand, and he is supposed to put candy and chocolates and gifts in your shoes. And if you are from an area that has Krampus, if you were not a good kid, Krampus will have taken you off the night before, so St. Nick doesn't waste his time. Sometimes Krampus, he likes to rattle chains. He's very noisy. You know he's coming for you when he comes. Sometimes he carries switches, like sticks. Sometimes he carries a sack. In this picture here, you can see him hanging out with St. Nick. St. Nick is giving candy to kids who are not asleep, apparently. And the fact that they're not asleep is why Krampus has managed to get the one in his sack, and he's going to carry him off. The non-church appropriate answer for where he's going to take them, you can come ask me later. Basically, Krampus's whole job is to scare children into good behavior. Now, let me be clear. Krampus, not in your Bible, okay? He's not real. He is folklore. But he does reveal something really interesting about how humanity and humans often think peace works. Krampus represents peace through fear. A peace that only lasts as long as people are scared. Peace that depends on pressure and punishment and everybody keeping their act together. Honestly, that's the only kind of peace the world really knows how to create on its own. But Isaiah 11 gives us a glimpse of something completely different. If Krampus is what happens when humanity tries to keep order through fear, Isaiah 11 is what happens when God brings peace through transformation. And that's where we begin today. It's where we find ourselves. Because Advent peace, the peace we light that second candle of the Advent wreath for, it is not tame, it is not quiet or predictable. Advent peace is unhinged in the most beautiful way. Because Advent peace begins in hopeless places. We heard earlier about a shoot that will come from the stump of Jesse, and from its roots, a full branch will bear fruit. A stump is what you see when something is over, when it's been cut down, finished, when you've given it a chance to heal and grow, but it doesn't. And so you do the ultimate prune and you cut it down. A stump is what happens when, despite the most advanced medical technology and medicine, a limb succumbs to injury or illness. A stump is a memory of what used to be. But Isaiah says that's exactly where God starts. God grows peace out of the places we have written off, the places that we feel cut down, the seasons we feel exhausted, the relationships that we think are done, the people that we on our own might have given up on, the parts of our lives that we don't expect will ever change. We want peace to begin in strength. God's peace begins in vulnerability. A tiny shoot, a fragile little start, right there in the stump. God grows peace in the places we assume are beyond repair. And if that doesn't feel upside down enough already, Isaiah isn't done. Because God's peace doesn't just show up in unexpected places, it also behaves in unexpected ways. Because unhinged peace rewrites what we think is possible. Isaiah starts describing a world that honestly sounds, at best, unhinged. It honestly sounds more than unhinged, but I can't come up with that word. The wolves are hanging out with the lambs. The leopards are napping with the goats, and the cows and the bears are sharing snacks. Now, based on everything I have watched on the nature channels, cows and bears have a different diet, but yet they're sharing snacks in this new, unhinged, peaceful world. Children are playing near cobras like it's a totally normal Tuesday playground activity. The natural predator is just chilling with its natural prey. This is not the everyone gets along for 5 minutes kind of peace that your mother demands for family photos. This is complete transformation of one's very nature. This is a peace that changes hearts. It changes instincts. It changes who we fear, and it changes the way we live with each other. It's not a fear-based peace. It's not behave or else. It's not keep the predators on one side of the fence and the vulnerable on the other. This is a peace that changes the nature of things. When God brings peace, it's not calm down. It's be made new. And Isaiah says this isn't just for a few people. This isn't just for the elite, for the selected descendants of David. This isn't a private spiritual moment. This peace is headed somewhere even bigger. Because unhinged peace spreads and it becomes rest for others. The earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Lord, and the nations will find rest. God's peace is not small. It is not containable. It's not just a vibe. It's an entire kingdom. A kingdom where fear does not rule. A kingdom where true justice is normal. A kingdom where children are safe from all predators. A peace where creation is healed. People find rest near the presence of God. Isaiah says the root of Jesse, the Messiah, he will become a banner, a standard, a resting place, a home where people gather, a refuge. And when God grows peace in you, that peace becomes rest for someone else. Because the peace God plants in you becomes peace that God gives through you. So as we lit the peace candle earlier this morning, let's remember, Advent peace is not peaceful because everything around us is peaceful. Advent peace is peaceful because God is transforming the world underneath our feet. Not a peace by fear. Not peace by pressure. Not the kind of peace that Krampus tries to enforce by chasing people with chains. Krampus is a story. It is folklore about controlling behavior through fear. Isaiah is a true story about changing creation through love. One story makes people behave for a moment. The other makes the whole world new forever. And that is the unhinged peace of Advent. A peace that grows from stumps and peace that transforms wolves and lambs peace that turns danger into safety. Peace that fills the earth like water fills the sea. Peace that is nothing like the kingdoms we know. Because the kingdom that is coming, the kingdom this shoot from Jesse brings, it is so very different from anything humanity has ever known and can ever accomplish on its own. It is a kingdom without monsters, a kingdom without fear, a kingdom where peace doesn't scare us into goodness, but shapes us into people of God's love. This new kingdom is the unhinged peace of Advent. And my friends, it is already breaking in.